This was not the video I was planning on making this week, but I feel like I need to talk about this, and I know a lot of people in the writing community are also talking about it. So if this is stuff that you've already heard, I'm sorry, but for those of you who don't know, NaNoWriMo, a lot of authors and writers are no longer supporting them, and I want to talk about it. Hi, my name is Dawn Dalton. I am a freelance writer and an author, and it pains me to say this, but this is going to be the first year in a very long time that I will not be doing NaNoWriMo. And that hurts to say, because NaNoWriMo has been a huge part of my writing career and is the reason why I have both written and not written. And after all of the stuff that's come out over the past couple of years, I can no longer support the organization as it is. Now, that is not to say that at some future date were massive amounts of changes to happen, I may go back to it, but as it stands right now, my stance is that it is eating itself from within. For those of you who don't know, last year allegations were brought to light that one of the moderators in the Young Writers program was accused of grooming. And this was brought to the attention of, from what I understand, it was brought to the attention of NaNoWriMo well ahead of the November event. Rhymos were not told anything about this until partway through November, when they locked all of our forums and basically took away the community aspect of NaNoWriMo. Now, I do not fault them for locking it and doing an investigation. I do, however, fault the organization for waiting until we were already in NaNoWriMo to go forward with this. Not only that we were in NaNoWriMo, but that we were already past the big double donation weekend where they get most of the money for the month of November, because we all get twice as much, like the next level of stuff for our donation. And I had, like I do every year, I had already donated, and when my stuff came in, I looked at my husband and I'm like, this is garbage. Like, I don't know that I can support an organization like this where there isn't oversight over your moderators. I understand that a lot of what goes on with NaNoWriMo is run off of volunteers, and that it has grown way bigger than it initially was thought to be. And so I'm like, you know what, I'll sit back and wait and see how everything shakes up, what they're gonna put in place to keep everybody safe in the future, now that they know that there are big gaps in their security. Let's see how they deal with this. And to say that they shit the bed is a little bit of an understatement. I normally stay out of drama. I try to not perpetuate, gossip. But when people who you have come to know and appreciate and trust say that they aren't sure that they are going to continue to be a part of NaNoWriMo as an organization, that's saying something. Our municipal liaisons came to us and were like, hey, we're not sure that we're going to continue this as it is. We may continue to run events for you guys, but we may not be official MLs. Which, I mean, MLs are amazing. St. Louis region has some really great ones. They put in a lot of hard work while also trying to write their own novels in the month of November. But they also run all of the events and make sure that things are going smoothly for all of the people in the region. When we were told by them that they had a week to go over their new contracts and they weren't allowed to discuss it even with each other, we all were like, that sounds really fishy. And they were like, and as it stands, I may not be signing it because I don't agree with a bunch of the stuff that's in it, which is fine. And again, I kind of let it go because I knew that this was in response to there being some very horrible allegations, and they were trying to tighten control, and they were still finding their way. And they were down to a very tiny team. We're talking 3 people, one of which was an intern. And then they decided to double down and really shit the bed. One of their sponsors this year is Pro Writing Aid. I think they've been a sponsor for quite a few years. I don't use them. But one of the new features that Pro Writing Aid has is an AI help me with my story kind of feature. And in an effort to allegedly get ahead of what could be a huge outcry against AI, NaNoWriMo put out a statement that accused anyone who was against utilizing AI as being classist and ableist. And as a broader subject, the use of AI is super nuanced. I use AI. I've been using AI for years. Anybody who uses spell check is using AI. Anybody who uses grammar check is using AI. Heck, even using the website tip of my tongue when you can't remember that one word but you know what the feeling of that word is utilizing AI. But it's using non-generative AI. And that's where the outcry started. The idea of using generative AI to take the person out of writing a story and to call everyone who is against utilizing technology that is built off of stolen works, because a lot of AI, especially for writing, is built off of books that were stolen from authors. There have been countless lawsuits from authors over their work being stolen and used to train AI. And that's where a lot of people got up in arms, because the way they were discussing it being classist and ableist to not be completely for AI being utilized, a lot of their talking points were, in my opinion, bullshit. And were really just trying to make it so that they could continue to have the sponsor that they had. And that's what is the straw that broke the camel's back. And you're seeing a lot of authors, a lot of writers en masse decide that we are done. And it pains me because NaNoWriMo was the reason I started writing again after college. I took a huge break from writing, and I think one of my friends told me about NaNoWriMo, and I had had this story in my head that I just hadn't written down, and I'm like, you know what, that actually sounds like a great idea. I didn't make my 50,000 words that year, but it got me writing, and I burned myself out that first year. Didn't write for quite a few months, dabbled for a few months, and tried again the next November. Didn't complete, burned myself out, until I learned how I write. And being forced to turn off the inner editor was something I will never be able to forget. And it is a big lesson that I learned from doing NaNoWriMo. I learned that I can, over the course of a month, write a novella and have a piece of work that, with a lot of polishing and a lot of fine-tuning, it could be a finished product. I never leave NaNoWriMo with a finished product. I'm always partway through a story when NaNoWriMo ends. But I always leave having renewed the sense of community that I generally don't get, because writing is a very solitary endeavor. It's just me and my computer, me and my notebook. But being able to go to the night of scribing recklessly and to sit in a room full of writers who are all aiming towards the same goal, even if half of them aren't even thinking about publishing, we're all trying to get to 50,000 words. Everyone in that room is cheering each other on when you ring the bell that you hit your nano goal, when you get a sticker for the fact that you got your 1,000 words. You know, it saddens me that what is such a great community builder is riddled with so much scandal and missteps. And my purse is covered in nano pins, and I'm gonna take them all off. I'm gonna replace them with the stuff that I bought at Gen Con this year. If I have room, maybe some of my older pins that I got when I went to Disney. But for the time being, NaNoWriMo is something I will officially not be participating in. At least on their website and with all of their official stuff. That is not to say that in November I'm not going to try for 50,000 words. It is so ingrained in me at this point that I cannot imagine going into November and not pushing myself. Even with everything else that goes on in that month, holidays, family, etc., I cannot imagine a year where I don't push my writing and see what I am capable of when I really focus in. I won't be calling it NaNoWriMo. It'll probably just be a November project. It will probably just be 50K in 30 days. Everybody in the community is trying really hard to figure out what that looks like, because at the beginning of the year, a lot of people set that as part of their writing goals and part of their strategy for the year. And I'm one of them. So this is not to say you won't see me scribbling recklessly in November, working on insert idea here, but you won't see that pretty graph because I'm not going to be on that website. And I have to figure out in the next month and a half exactly how I'm going to track my writing, how I want my November to look like. Because in the end, it is about my writing. It is about the community that I'm building. It is about the friends I have made over the years, and I need to figure out exactly what that looks like. So, if you're interested in seeing how this all shakes out in reference to my writing, be sure to feed the algorithm, boop that like button, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.